Lights cut through the darkness. Sweat glistens. Veins map out a topography of raw power. This is Nick, the Mutant Walker, a man forged in iron, sculpted through agony, walking back into the arena where legends are made. Since 2022, the Olympia stage has waited for his roar. He last left it with questions, but no regrets. A third-place finish, yes, but the hunger in his eyes told everyone this was not the final chapter. That year proved his capability, but also carved a hunger deep within him. A hunger so sharp that every rep, every cut, and every step since has been driven by a single vision: to stand as Mr. Olympia 2025. The comeback trail wasn't easy, but Walker never sought ease. He sought battles. He returned with fire in his chest and iron in his hands. His first stop, the Pittsburgh Pro, where he pushed Derek Lunsford into a tiebreaker round. It wasn't a win, but it was a thunderclap across the bodybuilding world. Nick was back, not timid, not cautious, but relentless. Then came the New York Pro, a show that felt almost like destiny. The stage lit, the crowd roared, and Walker lifted the trophy high for the third time, declaring to the world, "I'm here, I'm bigger, I'm fiercer." At 286 pounds, Walker is not just heavy, he is colossal. But mass alone does not win Olympias. He knows it. His fans know it. It is the artistry in his posing, the conditioning that slices light and shadow across his frame, the unshakable presence that transforms sheer muscle into legacy. With Coach Kyle Wilkes, every detail has been sharpened, every flaw turned to fuel. Now, as October 9th to 12th in Las Vegas approaches, the stakes could not be higher. This year's Olympia is more than competition. It is theater, war, destiny. Nick Walker himself has spoken his truth, predicting the top 5. Walker in first, Samson Gowda following, Hadi Choopan third, Derek Lunsford fourth, Martin Fitzwater fifth. Some call it confidence, others call it arrogance. But those who have watched him grind, those who have felt the earth shake when he poses, know it is not arrogance, it is faith. Faith in every sacrifice, every wound healed with determination, every lonely hour in the gym, never watched with his own reflection. Ghosts of champions past. Hadi's grace, Samson's mass, Derek's precision. Each rival brings weapons of their own. Walker steps onto this battlefield with something else. Something far less tangible, but far more dangerous. Intensity. That mutant intensity that has carried him through pain, through doubt, through the edge of defeat, and pulled him back into the fire. He is not here to place. He is not here to participate. He is here to conquer. Picture the scene. The crowd hushes, lights dim, and the stage becomes a canvas. His silhouette cuts through the smoke, a statue of flesh and willpower, sculpted by years of discipline. Cameras flash like thunder. He steps forward, heart pounding like war drums. The mutant flexes. Each pose sends waves across the hall. Every vein, every muscle fiber becomes a line of dialogue in the story he's telling. The judges lean in. The crowd cannot blink. And in that electric silence, you feel it. The presence of a champion in the making. This is Nick Walker's moment of truth. It is not just about muscle. It is about redemption. Sandow Trophy has been touched, admired, but never yet claimed by his hands. And now, the dream that once seemed distant burns at arm's length. The Olympia stage is not just another show. It is a battlefield where men become myths. And on that night, under those burning lights, Nick Walker steps in, not as a challenger, but as a force of destiny. The final scene plays out in the imagination of millions. The announcement of the winner, the roar of the crowd, the mutant raising his arms high, not just as a competitor, but as Mr. Olympia 2025. For Nick Walker, this is more than competition. It is the culmination of years of sacrifice, the answer to doubt, the proof that no setback is final if the heart keeps burning. Thanks for joining us. Remember to smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to Muff Fitness to stay in the loop with the latest news. Until next time, keep that motivation soaring and stay dedicated to your fitness path.
In the Iron Coliseum, where giants are forged and legends are crowned, few names ignite, all like Andrey Samev. His arrival on stage is not just an entrance. It is an eruption, a quake that shakes the very foundation of bodybuilding. His frame is more than massive. It is monumental. His aura, more than commanding, it is overwhelming. Andrey does not fade into the crowd. He consumes it. Every muscle carved into his physique tells a tale of wars fought in silence. Every pose a declaration that he was built for dominance. From the heart of Russia, he has risen not as a mere competitor, but as a spectacle of raw power and presence. A force of nature destined to stand shoulder to shoulder with the titans of the sport. Born in the vast lands of Russia, Andrey's journey began far away from the glamour of bodybuilding stages. His early years were defined not by applause, but by relentless work. Where others saw barriers, Andrey saw opportunity. Where others dreamed, Andrey began building. He was different from the start, towering, powerful, with a frame that seemed too colossal for ordinary limits. From his very first training sessions, it was clear Andrey was not made to blend in. he was made to stand out. The iron seemed almost too light in his hands, as though his body was already built for war. With each rep, each lift, each bead of sweat, Andrew forged himself into something greater than just another competitor. He was creating a titan. But greatness is never handed over. It must be earned in fire. And Andrew knew that. His path was anything but easy. Behind the cameras, behind the stage lights, there were nights of exhaustion, days of pain, and countless moments where most men would have broken. But Andrew did not break. He sharpened. Every setback became fuel. Every obstacle became a stepping stone. When Andrew first appeared on the international stage, the bodybuilding world stopped and stared. His sheer size was overwhelming. Broad shoulders stretching wider than belief, arms like coiled steel, legs thick as pillars, and a presence that could eclipse even the veterans. Commentators called him the Russian Giant, fans nicknamed him the Titan, and fellow competitors knew one thing: Andrey Samev had arrived. Yet bodybuilding is not just about size. It is about balance, lines, and the harmony of muscle that tells a story under the lights. Andrew carried not only mass, but a surprising level of aesthetics, sweeping quads, a narrow waist, and proportions that seemed almost impossible for someone of his size. He wasn't just a monster, he was an artist. Still, the stage is merciless. For every roar of the crowd, there are whispers of critics. Too raw, some said. Needs refinement, others claimed. But Andrew listened, not with anger, but with patience. He knew he was not yet the finished product. He was a storm in the making. The Olympia stage loomed like a mountain before him. The ultimate proving ground where legends are born and dreams are shattered. And though Andrew's journey to Olympia has been filled with anticipation, he has become more than a competitor. He has become a story of what happens when untamed size meets unbreakable will. Step by step, show by show, he has been carving his place in bodybuilding history. Every time he steps on stage, the audience feels it, not just sees it. The air changes, the energy shifts, and all eyes lock on him. That is not something you can teach. That is not something you can fake. That is presence. That is aura. That is Andrey Samev. For fans, Andrew represents something bigger than bodybuilding. He represents the rebirth of the mass monsters. In an era where lines and aesthetics have dominated the conversation, Samev brings back the power of sheer size, yet with enough structure to hold his own in the modern game. He is a bridge between the past and the future, a reminder of what once ruled and a glimpse of what could rule again. Behind the stage lights, Andrew remains humble. Those who meet him speak not of arrogance, but of quiet focus. He is not here to talk. He is here to prove. His training videos reveal a man possessed by a singular vision. The weights do not move him. He moves the weights. His sets are battles. His workouts are wars. And in every rep lies the hunger of a man who refuses to settle for second place. But what truly makes Andrew's story dramatic is not just his size or his potential. It is the unknown. Will he refine enough to dominate the Olympia stage? Will he bring the conditioning to match the mass, the sharpness to match the presence? Bodybuilding is as much about timing as it is about talent, and the world waits to see if Andrew's time is now. Because when he stands under those lights, with oil gleaming on every fiber, with muscles carved like stone, with veins running like rivers across his frame, Andrew doesn't just look like a competitor. He looks like inevitability, like a force that cannot be stopped. The crowd rises. The lights burn brighter. The judges lean forward. And in that moment, Andrey Samev isn't just another bodybuilder. He is a storm unleashed, a titan awakened, a man who came from the East to remind the world that legends are still being written. And as the story continues, one question echoes louder than the rest. Is Andrey Samev the future of bodybuilding? Or is he something greater? Something the sport has never seen before? Only time will answer. But one thing is certain, the world will be watching. The Olympia stage is the ultimate proving ground. Under its blazing lights, champions are crowned, dreams are shattered, and history is written in muscle and sweat. For decades, this Coliseum has witnessed titans like Arnold, Ramy, and Phil sculpt their names into eternity. And now, from the heart of Slovakia, a new warrior has stepped into the arena. Michal Krizo, the mass monster whose arrival has shaken the foundation of modern bodybuilding. When Krizo first walked onto the Olympia stage, it felt like a storm had rolled in. His frame was colossal, his arms so massive they drew gasps from the crowd, his chest so thick it cast shadows on the stage floor. He wasn't just a competitor, he was a spectacle, a reminder of the days when sheer size left audiences in awe. Yet Olympia is not a place where size alone guarantees victory. It is a place where every flaw is magnified, where balance and detail decide who rises to glory and who fades into the shadows. Krizo knows this truth better than anyone. His path to Olympia was not forged in luxury, but in the grind of small Slovakian gyms, where iron was his teacher and hunger his constant companion. Day after day, he built his body with ruthless precision, carrying the weight of his dream, to one day stand beneath the Olympia lights, not as a visitor, but as a contender. That dream, once distant, now burns brighter than ever. The bodybuilding world has long debated his potential. Could this European powerhouse refine his physique to match the artistry demanded by Olympia? Could his raw size and freakish proportions be polished into a masterpiece worthy of a Sando? These questions followed him into every show, every pose, every flex. But for Krizo, doubt was never a burden. It was fuel. Each criticism pushed him harder. Each expectation became a challenge to rise above.
His first Olympia appearance was only the beginning. For many, it was a test, a measure of where he stood among the giants. But Krizo saw it differently. To him, It was a declaration, a statement that he belonged on that stage, that the future of bodybuilding could no longer be spoken of without his name in the conversation. The crowd, the judges, the competitors, all felt the weight of his presence. He may not have claimed the crown that night, but he planted a flag. The era of Krizo had begun. Behind his mask lies a methodical mind. Krizo does not approach bodybuilding casually. He approaches it like war. His training is calculated destruction, tearing muscle fibers only to rebuild them stronger. His diet is discipline embodied, every bite serving a purpose, every calorie a weapon. His rest is strategic, recovery viewed not as weakness, but as preparation for the next assault. Everything he does is aimed at one target, standing victorious on the Olympia stage. What makes Krizo's story so cinematic is the sense of inevitability around him. There is an aura, a feeling that he is not merely competing, but marching toward destiny. Fans see it in his silhouette, in the way his arms stretch the limits of proportion, in the way his massive chest and delts dominate the stage. He doesn't just pose, he commands. And with each Olympia, he edges closer to the level of refinement that could turn potential into greatness. Olympia, however, is unforgiving. It is a battlefield that has humbled giants, where only the flawless survive. Krizo knows the stakes. Each year, the competition grows fiercer, the legends harder to dethrone. Yet his hunger remains unshaken. He does not fear the challenge, he thrives in it. Because every great champion has faced the same gauntlet, and every champion has carved their path through the same fire. As the lights blaze and the crowd roars, Michal Krizo steps forward with the presence of a man who refuses to be forgotten. His muscles speak volumes, but it is his determination that roars the loudest. Olympia is not simply a competition for him. It is the culmination of his life's work, the arena where he will either etch his name into history or die trying. The saga of Michal Krizo is still being written. He is not yet the champion, but he is the storm on the horizon, the shadow growing larger with each year. His journey is a reminder that greatness is not a single moment. It is a relentless pursuit. And as long as the Olympia stage exists, as long as the lights shine and the crowd gathers, Michal Krizo will be there, massive, unyielding, and ready to battle. Because in the end, Olympia does not choose its champions lightly. It demands blood, sacrifice, and evolution. And Krizo, with his monstrous frame and iron will, is willing to give it all. The question is not if he will rise, it is when. And when that moment comes, the world will witness not just a competitor, but a legend being born before their very eyes.
thunder rumbles through the coastal village of Baltim, Egypt. In a weathered fisherman's hut, the salty air carries dreams far fiercer than the roaring waves. Here, beneath flickering lamplight and the gaze of a worn family photograph, a young man named Mandau Elspie faces the weight of destiny. The world knows him as Big Ramy now, but on this night, he is only a son, his hands blistered by nets, his heart aching for the world beyond the sea. Suddenly, the silence is shattered by the clang of iron. It is not the sound of a catch, but the first rep of a journey that will lift him from obscurity. The camera pans in on Ramy's determined face, sweat dripping, eyes blazing. To live is not enough, I must become more. His voice echoes, dramatized for an online audience. Each grainy YouTube frame bleeds years of hidden pain and silent sacrifice. Growing up in a large family where physical work was a daily part of life, Mandau spent his early years helping his father and brothers as a fisherman. The harsh realities of manual labor and limited resources shaped his work ethic and determination from a young age. However, his heart was not content to remain tied to the sea. Inspired by legendary bodybuilders like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Ronnie Coleman, Mandau dreamed of forging a different path, a path into the world of bodybuilding where his genetic gifts and untiring spirit could flourish. In his early adulthood, Mandau moved to Kuwait City in pursuit of better opportunities. It was here, almost by chance, that he discovered the Oxygen Gym, a renowned training ground for elite athletes. The gym became his sanctuary and the birthplace of his transformation. Under the mentorship of Bader Boudai and with guidance from bodybuilding veterans like Dennis James, Big Ramy began to sculpt his unprecedented physique. Starting with a weighing around 200 pounds in 2011, his relentless effort caused his body mass to skyrocket. By 2012, he had already won the Amateur Olympia in Kuwait, dramatically increasing his weight to 286 pounds, a clear sign that a future champion was emerging. Big Ramy burst onto the professional bodybuilding scene in 2013 with a triumphant debut at the New York Pro Championship, taking first place and announcing himself as a formidable contender. His massive size, impressive muscle definition, and stage presence drew immediate comparisons to bodybuilding legends like Ronnie Coleman. Over the years, Big Ramy consistently climbed the ranks of the IFBB Pro League, racking up titles including the Arnold Classic Brazil in 2015 and the Arnold Classic Europe in 2017. The defining moment of Big Ramy's career came in 2020 at the Mr. Olympia contest, the most prestigious bodybuilding event in the world. Facing off against the sport's elite titans, Ramy delivered a show-stopping performance that combined size, symmetry, and peak conditioning. Weighing an astounding 316 pounds on stage, he became the heaviest bodybuilder ever to win the Olympia title. More significantly, he made history as the first Egyptian, the first Middle Eastern since 1983, and the first non-American since 1997 to claim the crown. His victory was greeted with roaring applause globally and widely covered on YouTube, where his emotional and humble acceptance inspired an entire generation of aspiring bodybuilders. In 2021, Big Ramy defended his title successfully, cementing his legacy as a two-time Mr. Olympia champion. Despite his size and strength, Ramy has shown a notable humility and dedication to the sport's rigorous demands, speaking candidly in interviews about the grueling preparation and mental toughness required for competing at this level. He overcame injuries, the COVID-19 pandemic setbacks, and the intense pressures of fame to remain among the world's best. rigorous isolation exercises, focusing on maintaining symmetry despite his colossal frame. Big Ramy attributes much of his success to consistent hard work, strict discipline, and the support of his team at Oxygen Gym. Beyond the competition stage, he has ventured into entrepreneurship, launching his supplement brand Red Rex in 2022 and promoting bodybuilding events, signaling his ambition to shape the future of the sport in more ways than one. Big Ramy's story is more than a tale of muscle and might. It is a testament to resilience and the power of dreams. From the shores of Egypt to the illustrious Olympia stage, his journey embodies the realization that no matter one's origins, with passion and perseverance, greatness is attainable. His humble nature, combined with unmatched physical prowess, makes him not only an awe-inspiring athlete, but also a beacon of hope and motivation for dreamers everywhere. In conclusion, Big Ramy stands as a living legend in bodybuilding, a fisherman-turned-champion, a warrior who traveled continents to seize a dream, and a symbol of the relentless pursuit of excellence. His legacy will forever electrify the sport, inspiring athletes across the globe to push beyond their limits and reach for their own Olympus.
In the world of bodybuilding, where legends are carved from iron and dreams are measured in sweat, one name roars louder with every passing year: Nick Walker, the Mutant. His rise has been nothing short of meteoric, his physique unlike anything the stage has witnessed in recent years. With the upcoming Misters, Olympia 2025, the fitness world is bracing for a showdown that could redefine the future of bodybuilding. And at the heart of this storm stands Nick Walker, ready, relentless, and carved in determination. Nick's story isn't just about muscle. It's about resilience, evolution, and the hunger to dominate the most prestigious stage in the sport. From the very beginning, he embraced the nickname the Mutant, not as a gimmick, but as a reflection of his freakishly dense muscle mass and granite-like proportions. Each pose he hits reveals a body built for war, veins running like rivers, muscle bellies so full they threaten to tear through the skin, and a presence that makes the crowd hold its breath. The path to Olympia glory is never smooth, and for Nick, it has been a battlefield of victories and setbacks. Every rep, every set, every moment of sacrifice was a brick in the fortress he has built. His conditioning and mass are unmatched. His waistline remains tight, despite the monstrous density he carries. Few athletes today combine size, symmetry, and stage presence the way Nick Walker does. That balance is what makes him not just a competitor, but a genuine threat to the title. As the countdown to Mr. Olympia 2025 ticks away, anticipation grows. The competition is stacked with champions and hungry contenders, athletes who have trained their entire lives for this very stage. But Nick has proven, time and again, that he thrives under pressure. His runner-up finishes, his jaw-dropping comebacks after setbacks, and his ability to pack on muscle while refining his aesthetics mark him as a new breed of bodybuilder. He isn't chasing shadows of past legends. He's crafting a legacy of his own. When the lights hit the Olympia stage in 2025, every eye will be locked on the Mutant. The roar of the crowd will echo as he walks out, his physique a living sculpture of determination. His front double biceps will send shockwaves through the arena. His side chest will display the sheer density of his training, and his most muscular pose will remind everyone why they call him one of the freakiest physiques ever to step on stage. Nick doesn't just perform, he commands attention. Yet, what makes Nick Walker stand apart isn't only the physique, it's his mindset. Behind the steel-hard exterior is a man who has endured setbacks, surgeries, and doubts, but never allowed them to define him. His comeback mentality, his grit to rise stronger after every fall, makes his journey more cinematic than any highlight reel. Fans see not only the muscle, but the fire in his eyes, the look of a man who will not settle for second place. Olympia 2025 represents more than a competition for Nick. It's destiny calling, a chance to etch his name alongside legends like Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, and Phil Heath. The stage is a battlefield, and Nick Walker enters it like a warrior, armed with discipline and self-belief. Every competitor may bring their best, but Nick brings something rarer, an aura, an unstoppable energy that makes even the fiercest rivals acknowledge his presence. As the night of Olympia approaches, bodybuilding fans worldwide can sense the electricity in the air. Social media buzzes with speculation. Gyms echo with conversations about his progress, and the whispers of Nick Walker 2025 grow louder by the day. The Mutant isn't just competing. He's leading a movement, inspiring lifters and fans to push past their limits, to embrace their inner warrior, and to dream bigger than ever before. If bodybuilding is art, then Nick Walker is the brushstroke of power that shakes the canvas. If it is war, then he is the general leading the charge. Mr. Olympia 2025 could very well be the year when the Mutant ascends to the throne, solidifying his place as one of the greatest of this era. And even if the battle rages with fierce competitors, one truth stands undeniable. Nick Walker is no longer just a contender, he is a phenomenon. When the dust settles and the spotlight dims, bodybuilding history may remember Olympia 2025 as the year Nick Walker seized destiny with both hands. A man built from iron, fueled by willpower, and destined for greatness. For Nick, this isn't just about winning a title, it's about immortality. Thanks for joining us. Remember to smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to Muff Fitness to stay in the loop with the latest news. Until next time, keep that motivation soaring and stay dedicated to your fitness path.
In the shadowed Colosseum of bodybuilding, where muscles are sculpted like steel and legends are forged beneath blinding lights, there emerged a warrior unlike any other. His name struck fear, admiration, and all at once, Roelly Winklaar, the beast of Curacao. With arms so colossal they seemed carved from another world, and a physique that blurred the line between man and myth. Roelly wasn't just a competitor, he was a spectacle, a force of nature, a living storm on stage. Yet behind the monstrous size lay a story not of privilege, but of pain, struggle, and resurrection. A boy shattered by tragedy who rose from the wreckage to become one of the most beloved and unforgettable icons the sport has ever known. Born in Curacao, a small island in the Caribbean, Roelly's path was far from straightforward. In his youth, he was not the towering beast fans would one day see on the Olympia stage. He was simply a boy with dreams, energy, and a spark waiting to ignite. But fate struck cruelly when a devastating car accident nearly took his life. It left him battered, broken, and uncertain of the future. For many, such a tragedy would have spelled the end. For Roelly, it became the beginning. The pain didn't destroy him, it awakened him. The iron, cold and unyielding, became his therapy, his salvation, and his weapon to rebuild not just his body, but his very existence. When Roelly discovered bodybuilding, it was as though destiny itself had been revealed. He trained with relentless fire, turning tragedy into triumph, carving muscle upon muscle until his physique no longer seemed human. His arms, massive, round, and full, soon became a phenomenon in the sport, often hailed as the greatest arms in bodybuilding history. They weren't just big, they were iconic, instantly recognizable, a hallmark of the man fans would come to adore as the Dutch Beast. The breakthrough came in 2009, when Roelly earned his IFBB Pro card, announcing himself as a rising force. But it was his shocking New York Pro victory in 2010 that sent ripples through the bodybuilding world. Overnight, Roelly became more than a name. He became a symbol of raw power and freakish proportions. Crowds roared, jaws dropped, and photographers captured images that seemed to belong more in a comic book than reality. Roelly Winklaar had arrived, and the sport would never look at arms, or mass, the same way again. Yet, for all his size and spectacle, the road was not without obstacles. Roelly became known as a man of extremes. When he was at his best, he looked unbeatable, a mountain of muscle combined with surprising symmetry. But when he was off, critics wondered if he would ever fully harness his potential. His conditioning was sometimes inconsistent, and doubts followed him through the years. Still, what set Roelly apart was not perfection, but persistence. Every setback became fuel. Every defeat made him hungrier. He did not quit. He did not falter. He fought, time and time again, with the heart of a warrior. Guidance came in the form of his mentor, affectionately known as Grandma Winklaar. Though not his biological grandmother, she became his compass, his trainer, and his anchor in the unpredictable waters of professional bodybuilding. Together, they reshaped his career, refining his presentation and sharpening his physique. Their partnership was legendary, proof that in a sport often described as solitary, a strong guiding hand can make all the difference. With her, Roelly didn't just grow bigger, he grew smarter, more polished, and closer to fulfilling his destiny. Year after year, Roelly continued to rise. His presence on stage was undeniable. The sheer mass of his physique combined with his charming smile and charisma made him a fan favorite wherever he went. Audiences loved him not just because he was a freak of nature, but because he radiated joy, humility, and authenticity. Roelly Winklaar wasn't just showing muscles, he was sharing a piece of himself with every pose, every flex, every smile. Then came 2018, the year that cemented Roelly's legacy forever. At the Mr. Olympia, under the blinding lights of Las Vegas, Roelly delivered the performance of his career, placing third in the world. It was the highest Olympia placing of his life, and the moment that silenced his critics. That night, the Beast was not just massive, he was refined, conditioned, and complete. Fans erupted in celebration, and the whispers began, if Roelly can be this sharp, he might just win it all. Though the Sando Trophy eluded him, Roelly had proven beyond doubt that he belonged among the sport's greatest. But Roelly's story has never been about a single title or a single night. His legacy is bigger than trophies. It is about the resilience to rise when life knocks you down, the determination to silence critics, and the courage to keep chasing greatness even when the odds are stacked against you. Roelly embodied the essence of bodybuilding, not just as a sport, but as a metaphor for life itself. Build, break, rebuild, grow stronger, repeat. In the twilight of his career, Roelly Winklaar remains a legend. His arms are etched into the mythology of bodybuilding. His smile still warms the hearts of fans across the globe. His journey, from the wreckage of a car crash to the grand stages of the Olympia, remains one of the most inspiring sagas in the sport's history. He showed the world that you don't need to win the Sando to win immortality. Because Roelly Winklaar already won something greater, the love of fans, the respect of peers, and a legacy carved deep into the history of bodybuilding. His story tells us that greatness is not only measured by trophies, but by the battles fought, the resilience displayed, and the inspiration left behind. Roelly Winklaar will forever be remembered not only as the Beast of Curacao, not only as the man with the greatest arms in history, but as a warrior who turned pain into power, tragedy into triumph, and muscle into myth. And though the lights may dim, the roar of the Beast will echo in bodybuilding forever.
The screen fades from black. A slow, pulsating heartbeat echoes through the darkness. Then, a flash of light cuts across the frame, revealing a silhouette that commands attention. A mountain of muscle stands center stage, veins like rivers, skin stretched tight over boulders sculpted by relentless pain and persistence. The voiceover begins deep and resonant. They said he was too young, too raw, too reckless to dream of Olympia gold. They were wrong. The camera zooms in on a pair of determined eyes. Vitaly Ugalnikov, better known to the bodybuilding world as Goodvito. The Russian phenom who took the sport by storm with an unparalleled combination of size, shape, and aesthetics now prepares for the battle that will define his legacy. Mr. Olympia 2025. Cut to an aerial shot of a snow-dusted Moscow street. Inside a dimly lit gym, the clang of iron shatters the silence. Vito grips the bar, his forearms bulging like steel cables as sweat drips onto the floor. His journey hasn't been a fairy tale, it's been war. From battling early criticism about symmetry to rebuilding his physique after injuries, every rep has been a declaration of defiance. The freak era is here. The narrator continues as a montage of his jaw-dropping physique updates floods the screen. Shoulders as wide as a doorway, arms that defy logic, quads carved with insane detail. The critics who once doubted him, they now whisper his name in fear. The music swells. October 2025 flashes across the screen. The stage is set in Las Vegas, the Grand Coliseum of bodybuilding, where legends are born and broken under the harsh glow of the spotlight. We see Vito backstage, staring into the mirror, chalk dust floating around him like smoke. His headphones blast anthems of power, but inside, there's only silence. Focus, precision, rage channeled into purpose. The camera pans over his physique, every fiber striated, every muscle screaming perfection. This isn't just bodybuilding. This is art in motion. The voice whispers as slow-motion shots capture Vito, hitting his iconic front double biceps. Lats flaring like wings, arms exploding with definition, waist cinched to cartoonish proportions. The crowd roars, flashes light up like fireworks, and the announcer's voice shakes the arena. Ladies and gentlemen, Goodvito. He steps out, bathed in white light. The crowd erupting in disbelief. His routine begins, not just a display of muscle, but a symphony of power and elegance. Every pose, a statement. Every flex, a promise. The judges lean forward, whispering among themselves. This isn't the same Vito they saw last season. This is a monster reborn, a contender for the ultimate crown. As the music crescendos, the narrator's voice cuts through like thunder. In a sport where legends are forged in iron and dreams die under the weight of expectations, one man dares to rewrite history. Will 2025 be the year Goodvito rises to Olympia immortality? Or will he remain a shadow in the kingdom of giants? The screen fades to black. One phrase burns across the screen in bold letters. Mr. Olympia 2025, the battle begins. And then, just before the credits roll, the last words echo like a war cry. Goodvito is coming. Subscribe to Discovery Motivation for more epic bodybuilding stories, insane transformations, and the ultimate road to Mr. Olympia glory.